Hello everyone, this is Susan from Susan Hiles Art, and welcome to my Monday Crafty Chit Chat and Slow Stitching video. So you can probably tell that I'm starting this video out differently than I normally do. I'm actually holding my iPad and I'm just trying to keep it fairly steady. I don't have it in my tripod, so it might, be a little shaky. But what I wanted to do was get it to where we could see what the whole wall hanging is going to look like as a whole. And then I will be going back into my craft room and from my kitchen, and we will finish up this block right here. These I just have sitting there. None of the yo-yo and the buttons are not sewn. But there's a couple things I want to do with you before I go and I do that sewing. But even before that, let me kind of raise my iPad a little bit. And there's my parrot. Where is he? He's all the way up at the top of his cage. Yep, that's Maui. That's my Maui Moo. He was, oh my gosh, he's 10 years old. March, 10 years old. So yep, he'll live to be 20, 25, maybe 30 years old. Okay, so you can see that I do have a tripod here. This is my old tripod. And I brought it out because I thought after I show you this as a whole, because it's just too long, right? It's too big to fit in camera otherwise, so that's why I'm holding it. But after I show you a few things, I'm gonna put my iPad in this tripod, and we're going to figure out what fabrics to use for the last block. But I want to explain something first. Well, one of the things that I want to explain is this. This right here, this block, the neutral block, is shorter than the rest of them. And all along I was thinking, well, I'm going to have to add something to it to make it longer. But then once I got these out here, and I started placing them kind of like a puzzle, I was like, well, what I could do, since this is, a fairly, well, I want to say long one, and so is this block here, the one we're currently working on, that if I made this one a little bit shorter, like that one is, then I'm good. Then it all pieces together. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this one a little bit shorter, and you can see that it's shorter, right? Because it doesn't end where this one ends. And then this one is going to start a little bit shorter. So I hope that made sense. I mean, it will be, I have to cut this piece of fabric, so it's not exactly the right length. I'll have to fix that actually a little bit before we get moving on the fabric. But I just want you to notice too the colors. So you can see, like I've said before, like there's a lot of peach in these, right? These top two. There's some yellow. Then we get into the brown and like dark pink maroonish color. We have the neutral. This one has a lot of browns too, so these two kind of complement one another. Yet this does have some yellow in it in the flower and that peachish orangey color. So they do kind of pull together. But this one, as you can see, I was thinking I'm going to start with some yellows, because to me, having yellow down here and yellow all the way up there just kind of works. I'm going to hold the camera back just a little bit. So maybe I can, it's hard. No, that's Maui. Meow, he's making noise. So I'm going to go and I'm going to put this into the tripod that's here on my counter or my table, and we're going to work on this block right here. And I'm going to be using fabrics that I actually bought from Susan Taylor Brown a few months back. And so we're going to be looking through those fabrics. And these pieces right here, plus that, are from that packet that I bought from Susan. And then I did also pull out, oh, there's some food stuff that has to go downstairs. I did pull out some other fabrics as well. So, all right, I'm going to switch over to the tripod on my table. Okay, so I think I have it set up okay. You might see some shadow. I mean, I'm right next to a window here in my kitchen, but I think it's going to snow today, so there's no sun out. And yeah, you know, this isn't where I normally record, so it's a little off for me, but that's all right. We will manage. Okay, so I think the first thing we need to do is cut this last piece of muslin to the size that it really needs to be. So if I have that all lined up, that looks good, right? I think that that works. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut it right there. Well, we're going to actually tear it. And to give a nice frayed edge. And there we go. All right, easy peasy. So we have our last block. Let me just make sure that it's okay. It is actually a smidge long. Should I leave it? Because sometimes, like when you sew fabric, I'm going to leave it. Because when you sew fabric, a lot of times it gets smaller, if that makes any sense. It all kind of pulls the base of what you're sewing on, the block. It makes it smaller. So I'm going to leave it as is. Okay, now the reason that we're doing this is because after today, at the end of this video, we're going to go ahead and finish this block off. So I wanted to look at this as a whole and just kind of figure out what we're going to do with this last block. And like I showed you, I thought having some yellow down here was going to be just perfect. Now, everything that we're looking at this point is from the kit that I bought from Susan, and I'll have her link below in the description box. I don't know if her shop is open right now. She does have Etsy, but where you purchase this kind of stuff isn't Etsy. It's more like I guess it's a website. And so I'm not really sure if she has that open right now or not, but definitely go and check her out on Facebook and YouTube. And yeah, and we can find out if her shop is open right now or not. And so this was part of that kit, and it's just yummy. Part of what I like about this is that, well, it has the yellow, it has a little bit of orange, it has some deep color in it. And I thought that that could pull together this piece even better with the rest of the block. So I definitely want to use some of that, you know, and just kind of having this right here like this, I kind of like that. So I'm going to, well, no, because that one, I don't know if you can see it, but this one has a vertical. So maybe I need to do, well, I'm going to have horizontal on this one. Well, we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll just put like a little piece up here or something. I think what I'll do, just for the purpose of fooling around with it, I'm just going to cut a piece. And then this way we can kind of move it around. Okay, so now there were buttons that came with this kit. And I'm sure I'll probably use 3 of them. We'll just put them over here, not sure where yet. And or maybe not 3, maybe I'll just use 1 and pull in some other colors as well. Now, this is beautiful. This is upholstery, that's upholstery fabric. And I thought that would look good up there. So maybe having something like that would look good. And let's just kind of look through these fabrics together. I'll just place it right here. So this has black with that beautiful like goldish yellow color, but I don't think I want black. This has blue, which I don't have on any of these. This is really quite pretty right here because the block, let me see if I can grab it without moving the camera because, wait, I have to move the camera a little bit. This block has a similar color to it, not exactly. This is definitely brighter. I don't know if I'd want to pull that in, but I think in reality, this is more so the block that I'm trying to not match to, but definitely use it for inspiration and for color, the color. So there is some plain yellow, but I don't know that I need just more yellow. I think I need to start pulling in some other colors, but I do have to say, wouldn't it be cool to cut out a flower and add that? I don't know. I think it's going to be too much yellow. I don't want to get, hung up on yellow. Like this, I think is gorgeous, but I don't have bling. This isn't a blingy piece, so I'm not going to use those. This is quite beautiful. It's like a satin, but it's even that is too shimmery. I mean, I literally have nothing on these that are shimmery or have any sparkle or anything like that. Now this is a beautiful piece and it has brown. I'm just going to kind of put it there for a minute and let's see, right? Because doesn't that, well, I mean, this obviously would be cut. Let me fold it over, get a better feel for it. So we could do something like this. Something like that. Even having that down there would be super pretty. Isn't that pretty? That actually goes together really well. There's this. So this is a silk scarf and I love it. These fray so beautifully, but it's gray and I don't have gray in this colorway right now. Now this is a pretty piece. It is not super shimmery on this side. This side has more of a shimmer than this side, and it kind of pulls in that peachy color. So let's see. I think what I'll do with this is I'm going to cut this basically in half, and let's see. Ooh, I'm trying to tear it. Wow, that was hard. Okay, so let's just say for now that I put it here. Just for now. Right? And we're going to fool around with it a little bit. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, this is also a silk scarf. It is not shiny. And it has the brown, it has the peaches, it has the yellow. Oh my gosh. Could I grab just a little piece of this? Remember, I call these simplistic blocks, so I try to keep them pretty basic. And I'll say, and I try to always say this, is Maria Ruiz over on Susan Taylor Brown's Facebook page. She calls them meditation art. And yeah, and I just love what she does. So I've kind of used her for inspiration as well. So I try to keep these blocks fairly simple. But, as you know, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not easy. Simple and easy are not necessarily the same thing, as I'm sure a lot of you know. So I'm going to cut a piece. Let's see. And let's see. I mean, the colors are absolutely perfect. Maybe I need to, I don't know. I kind of feel like I would have to make this smaller, and I also have to iron it because it's like bunching up. But I don't know. Well, I can tell you another thing that I like is this stripe over here. I was kind of hoping to get a stripe on this one. But unless I put a really small piece of this on there, I think it's bringing way too much yellow. Although I love that. But look at this. This is another scarf. And it also has like that peach in it. But it doesn't have that dark brown. You know what? I'm just going to do it. Let's cut a piece, right? If you have your fabrics and you don't want to cut them, which sometimes that's how I am. Sometimes I admit it. Sometimes I definitely hoard my fabrics a lot. But the fabrics, oh gosh, that won't tear. The fabrics that are already small, like these pieces are small, and that's what I like to purchase is small pieces of fabrics. And those I feel like you just need to tear into them. Tear them up because yeah, use them, right? Definitely use them. So let's see what this one looks like. Now that is one heck of a yellow block, is it not? I don't know. I have this. Of course, it was a packet of yellow, so that's why. And I have this. I don't want to pull that red in. But, all right. So now I have to make some decisions. Let's look at, this is kind of my yellow orange pile from my fabric stash. There's a lot here right now, but let me see if I can kind of put them down and quickly go through. See, now this is a really nice peach, so I'm going to hold that out. But let's see, I don't need more yellow. Definitely don't need yellow, but if I can find something, that's an interesting. Hey, I was looking for a bird, I think for the Roxy project. There it is. I knew I had it somewhere. Let's see, I think, oh no. I mean, these would work. So if I pull this out, like this would definitely work because those colors are pretty much the same. This would also work. So let me see. I'm going to leave this out. I just want to try to maybe pull in a little bit. Well, I'll leave this out too, just because. Oh, look at this piece. Well, no, it has other colors in it, but I love that background. It's beautiful. Here's one. This is interesting. It kind of gives the whole stripe feel to it. It's not necessarily the right color though, but gosh, wouldn't that look pretty on there? I like it because it's toned down. And even though it looks really well, it still has the yellow that this one has. And remember, this one's going to be up top. I'm just going to place it up there again and just see. as a whole, you know what, it looks really, really, really good. I like this right here. I do like the bird too. So I think I'll hold this out. So I'm going to kind of leave this like this, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab this block, and I'm going to go into my craft room and we're going to finish this block off. I have my threads pulled out. I think I have everything. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sew down the yo-yo. I know I want it right there because just like in my paper crafting, I like to soften up hard corners and edges. And you see how those go together? I want to sew something there to soften that area up, and I'll probably be putting a button pretty much right here to help soften this up a little bit. How should I sew this down is the question. I think what I'll do is I will take this, which is very heavy yarn, and I was going to use it to put some what are they, French knots down, but I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of this has a nice messy fuzzy little end to it where I put the knot. So I think what I'm going to do is just go through it from the top, bring it down. Ugh, come on, go through. And yeah, we're going to leave it like that. Look how cute that is. It sticks out. You know what? I didn't tie that tight enough. I could come in and maybe put just a couple stitches around, and maybe I'll do that. This yarn, I don't know, doesn't seem to be holding it as tight as I would like it, but I love the look of it. So just a couple stitches just to hold that down into place just a little bit. I mean, you're not going to see the stitches from the top. I'm just grabbing the underneath just to hold it down. And I guess I'll put one here. Let's see, one here. Make sure I'm not going through all the way. I don't want to see this thread from the other side. Not that that would be terrible or anything, but if I can avoid it, that works for me. Okay, I'm gonna knot this. And now the yo-yo is really down. Okay. All right. There we go. That looks better, right? Let me move some of this stuff. Okay, that looks better. I like that a lot. Super duper 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 cute. Okay, let's do the buttons. Now the buttons, I think I'm going to use the same dark brown thread as I did stitching the rest of this. Now to figure out the order of these, like usually the biggest one goes on top. It doesn't have to. And then it gets smaller and smaller. Now I like these, and I like this one in the middle because it is a lighter color. Like these two are, you know, darker brown. This one's a little bit lighter in color. And, you know, and you can figure out, well, do you want them close together? Do you want them totally, you know, stretched out longer? I think, well, let's see. So I have this, and I was thinking of sewing that down there. And then I was going to take a piece of this to couch. And now I don't know. I'm thinking that quiet that you hear is me thinking. Maybe what I'll do now that I'm really looking at this, because I don't want to cover up the feather stitch. I really want to try to keep the blanket stitch visible. Maybe what I'll do is just No, should I forego the couching, or should I forego this, or should I put both down? I kind of like that there and leave it kind of loose. Can't see it a real lot, but we have to remember this is simplistic. So what I think I'm looking at right now is, isn't that funny? I think what I'm looking at, like I don't know what I'm looking at. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. What I am looking at right now is the visual heaviness of it. So there's like a lot of heavy going on over here because of these buttons. And to me, that's the heaviest spot. Well, if I bring this and couch this here, that kind of gives that whole triangle, and it gives a heavier spot down here. I could stitch this with the dark brown. I could stitch it with the off-white so that it's more visible, and maybe I would use this thread right here, the off-white, so that it's more visible. So I'm liking all of this. So let's get these buttons down. So I'm just gonna get them down. Even my buttons, when I go to sew buttons, they don't ever really end up exactly where I wanted them. Just like when I pin fabric down, it doesn't really look good, or like it almost seems like the fabric moves. But I mean, when I go to sew it, you know, I make sure that the fabric is where I want it to be. But I'm just going to go through twice, and well, not that one. I've been making these Monday videos for over a year now, I believe. And as you guys know, they're my favorite video of the week to make. Because I say that at the beginning, I think, of every video of them. At least nowadays I do. And I didn't always say that, but they quickly became my favorite videos of the week to make. And I just love it. I do have to say, I do have a little change to my video, not my schedule, but my content. I mean, I'm still keeping this video, this Monday video, every Monday, and I'm still gonna do my Roxy videos on Wednesdays, but Fridays I'm going to be changing up. For now, I'm keeping it more as like whatever I feel like doing. Sherry and I, we had collaborated, co-hosted together for at least 16 months, 16, 1-6, months, and we put out a new collaboration, a new theme every month, and oh my gosh, it was such a blast, such a blast. And, but see, I got them a little further apart than what I had intended. They're not exactly straight. And you know what? Hanging on a wall, nobody's going to notice. So anyway, we took just a little bit of a break. I don't know if we'll go back to it or not at some point. But we've done so many different themes. Yeah, so many awesome things, and hopefully challenged people. I know that those collaborations challenged me for sure, and it was a lot of fun. But you know, so we're just taking a break, or we may never go back to them. Who knows? We honestly don't know. But yeah, so my Friday videos are, I think I'm going to call them like Happy Friday. Just record whatever I kind of feel like recording. Yeah, so that kind of thing. And it should be fun. All right, so now that I have the buttons on there, those came out good. Now this is, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna double this over, and I think I'm gonna leave it a little bit loose, meaning, I'll show you. You know what, I'm gonna actually cut this end as well, and let me see if I can get that to look a little messier. And there we go. Good, perfect. So now it is hanging over a little bit. Like, how do I want to show this stitch? Like, how far up do I want to go? I think I'll go pretty much right about there. And so when I stitch this, I'm not going to go really small. So my stitches are going to be not pulled as tight, because I want it to be a little looser, right? So I could pull that a lot tighter, but I'm not going to. And I think what I'm going to do, so with couching, you can put stitches fairly close together and you can put them far apart. And I think I'm going to put these just a little bit further apart than what I normally would do. And I think that that will look good. And what I'm doing, just so that it's a little bit straight, oops, I pulled that too tight. Let me loosen that up a little bit. Is the stitch on here, this stitch holding this brown fabric down, I'm kind of using that as my guide on the bottom, so that it is not like really crooked or anything. As far as, yeah, it's very easy to pull this tight. I'm just pulling the thread through and it's tightening this a little too much. But yeah, so see, I'm kind of using that stitched line to stitch the bottom stitch, and then I'm just going up a little bit and doing the top stitch like that. All right, I still want this looser. That looks too tight to me. Okay, that's better. Okay, loose, loose, loose. Keeping it loose. All right, I'm probably gonna do, I'm just gonna do one more. Let's do one more. It might look a little funny, but that's all right. Let's see. It'll be close enough. Oh yeah, no, that looks good. Oh, look at that. Isn't that adorable? Oh, I love it. That's perfect. Perfect. All right, so that's on. And I don't know at this point if I'm going to get this on there. I so much wanted to use some of this because I just have a little bit left of it. And I was hoping to use it on, a little bit at least, on this block right here. But I'm kind of, I don't know. Now I'm not. Well, let me pull it off. Because you can see through it. It has adhesive on the back, although I'm not using it because of the adhesive. That just is how it comes. I mean, I would sew it, but see, that's what it would look like. I'm not going to press it down. I feel like it kind of divides this brown piece of fabric. To finish this block off, I'm going to take that light orange yarn that I put up here in the yo-yo, and I want to have a little bit of that color somewhere down here. I was thinking I could do a stitch right in the middle of the leaf. I'm going to try that. Let's try it. So I'm going to, the yarn is a little bit thick. Let's see. if I can make it work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a back stitch. So I have the first stitch in there, then I'm going to go up like the size of a stitch, and I'm going to go backwards back to the first stitch, like that. I think I'll put 2 more stitches in here, and hopefully, or maybe 1. Let's try it with 1 and see. It's just enough to add a little bit of that orange right there. Perfect. I think this block is done. Perfect. I was considering doing a few French knots, but I think that this block is perfect the way that it is. And I think that it's going to go really well with the rest of the other blocks that I showed you earlier. So that's it for today. Yeah, so next week we're going to come on and we'll go ahead and start that last block. I'm excited to do this with all of you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you Wednesday for my next Roxy Journal of Stitchery Volume 3 video, and we're going to finish up the shed for that. And then on Friday, I'm actually doing a flip through of my junk journal that I made for the past 2 months. So that'll be fun too. All right. Thanks so much for being here. God bless everybody. Bye-bye.